Well, speaking of, making investments, we're going to talk about the third topic, man. The third topic on investing.
Let's do it.
Let's
do
it.
it.
I'm happy you're ecstatic about it, man.
I like this topic.
I don't know a lot of people that invest in my immediate circle. Maybe I just don't have a big enough social network. Maybe I don't ask the right questions.
I think more people are invested than you think.
More people are investing than I think.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just that people aren't talking about it.
I don't think we talk about it.
Why are people talking about where they're putting their money at?
Because it's a very private thing to talk about.
People don't want other people in their piggy bank? What's that about?
They don't, because I think we get funny when it comes to our money.
We funny with the money.
We don't want people to be in our business.
Strange with the change.
Strange with the change, funny with the money.
Well, let's talk about it, man.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
What is investing? You hear people talk about investing, stocks and bonds, all kinds of investing terms. What is investing in layman's terms?
Man, I'm not good with dictionary definitions.
I know, that's why I said layman's terms.
Yeah. So investing in my terms is putting your money to work for you. So it's making your money go, make you more money.
Okay.
And sometimes it's putting your body to work for you. Not in a bad sense, but like in the sense of like, hey, I'm going to invest in myself. Like you can invest in your own mental as well. You can invest in your physical body. So it's anything that's going to give you a return.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking in the financial terms, when did you start getting into investing? And what kind of... Well, you said my people are funny.
I'm okay with talking about my finances.
Okay.
I mean, partially.
When did you start getting into investing? How did you hear about it, learn about it? And yeah.
So technically, I've had investment accounts for a lot of my life. My college money was in an investment account, thanks to my grandparents. But I wasn't, actively aware of it or investing, like managing it, so I can't count that. My first big investment was my real estate property. And then I got into an investment club out of college, which turned out to be a whole fraud. That was an interesting story. I lost a lot of money in that.
Oh, man.
But it's okay, because I got some of it back in the lawsuit. Some of it. I think I got like maybe...
No, don't say.
I think I got like maybe 10% of my money back, maybe 20% of it back. So I'm happy about that. But I learned my lesson. And then I got really into investing probably, I would say within the last 2 years. Like that's when I kind of started putting my money into the stock market more. Okay. And then crypto, of course, has become a big thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm gonna throw out a couple terms. In my own like research and stuff, you can make different kinds of investments in different kinds of things. So there's stocks, most famously or infamously known as the stock market.
Yep.
There are bonds, which, as I understand, are government issued.
Yep. Correct.
Kind of like shares.
Yep. It's like a debt, basically.
Yeah. There are like CDs, certificates of deposits.
Yep.
There are mutual funds.
Yes.
What kind of... So out of all those, I guess, investments you could make, which ones do you kind of invest in and why?
I've dabbled in the stock market. I got into contracts for a little bit in the stock market, which honestly I don't fully understand. Well, I understand how a contract works. But I was in the stock market. I'm in crypto. I don't think I've ever had a CD or a bond. I have a mutual fund account, and I've also had a 403b account. I have an IRA. What else? Yeah, those are the main things I'm invested in right now, and the real estate, of course.
What made you choose those specifically?
Well, the stock market, I honestly just got really interested. I've always been skeptical of it initially, and then I started just seeing how many people were just learning how to day trade, and I had to learn like for myself that like what type of trader, what kind of investor am I basically? Am I a day trader? Am I a swing trader? And I've come to the conclusion that for me, the stock market is a long play. Like I'm not risky with my money, like in the stock market at least. I wanted to put it in there in a company I believe in. I'm gonna let it sit, and I'll come back in 20 years and I'll pull it out then.
Okay.
Because what I've learned is that the stock market just yields better returns versus sitting in my checking account or my savings account. Like, why am I going to let my money sit in an account and earn me 0.2% when it can yield 8%, you know, like on average? So if you let your money sit in a good investment, it's going to yield the returns, especially if you look at the history of the stock market.
Okay.
It trends upward. You know, of course it goes down, but people sell when it's down. It's like we get emotional with our money. So the biggest thing I've learned about the stock market is just not to be emotional. Like, it's money. Money comes and goes, and if you're going to be an emotional investor, then you should not be in the stock market at all.
Well, I want to touch on, you know, you said like the whole emotional bit, and there's a lot of some people know about the stock market, but
a lot of people know more about it than me.
I think there's also kind of this element of like people being scared to put their money in the market and lose it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even go into debt, you know? Like, you hear about the Great Depressions, you know, like the more famous one where, you know, FDR had to step in and, you know, the New Deal and all that, stock market crash. More recently, we had the 2008 crisis, you know, the housing market, Mr. Realtor.
That was an interesting thing.
But yeah, there's this real sense where people are like, okay, I put my money in this company. Maybe they're legit. Maybe they're maybe, you know, hopefully I gotta hope they're not lying about how they're tracking their money.
Right.
All that other kinds of stuff. But there's this fear of, you know, losing your money. How'd you overcome that fear? And, you know, how would you recommend other people overcome that fear?
I would say I don't put any money in the stock market that I'm not willing to lose. So if I put money into an investment, like I put it in there knowing that I'm okay if I lost this money. So don't put anything in the stock market that you're not okay with losing.
Okay.
Of course, that's not my goal. Like, my goal is to have it increase, like make me a profit. But if I can't afford to lose it, then I shouldn't be putting it in the stock market.
Okay.
So that's my first piece of advice. And then as far as like detaching myself, I guess because I'm already going into that mindset, like I'm already detached from the money. It's like, okay, it's in there. I'm not going to check it every 2 seconds. Now, I did have something go down like by 90% recently, and I'm not going to lie, I got a little stressed out. But I also realized it's a longer term play for me. So I'm like, I have 2 years for this to increase. So I'm not going to worry about it. You know, like, I did stress out. I'm not going to lie. But I've also made up my mind. It's like, okay, I'm not going to take my money out. I'm just going to let it sit. And it's technically not a loss until you pull it out. So,
okay.
Yeah. Technically. Yeah.
So, I mean, is there ever a reason for someone not to get started in the stock market? Like, how much should one know? We were talking about financial literacy. What's kind of like the baseline for someone starting in the stock market? Should they have a certain level of financial literacy? Should they have a certain amount of money in their savings account? Like, what needs to be in order for someone to get started investing? I
would definitely encourage anyone who wants to invest, like, to manage your debts first. So if you have a lot of debt, I would say handle that. Like, make sure you're paying down your debts. So that way, if you do get into, let's say the money you put into the investment goes down, you're not worried about, like, you're not trying to live off of that, you know? Because some people will try to make dividends off of the stock market. So they're looking to actually use that money or the increase they make to pay their bills. Especially if you're a day trader. I would focus on first your debts and then your 6 months worth of living expenses first. Okay. So if your debt is out of control, then I would say get that in control first. You know, pay your debts down. I know student loans are huge for a lot of people in our generation right now.
Heck yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that you need to have all your student loans paid down, but make sure your payments are manageable for you. But credit card debt, pay that off, you know, before you really get into the stock market. And then have 6 months worth of living expenses. I'm being very serious about that. Like, I would encourage that for anyone, even before they buy a house. Like, I do not like people being put into situations where they're house poor. And I know people, you know, they're pushing like the 0% down programs, which are great for people that need the money. But I would still encourage people to have money saved up for living expenses. Just because it's not my goal to get someone into a situation where they can't afford to pay their bills, you know? So before you invest in the stock market, have your money saved and pay off your debts. The ones you can pay off. Yeah.
And with that, we're going to conclude
yes.
the interview. Everyone, this has been Christian Givens.
Thanks for having me.
On SWEC, baby.
Thanks for having me, man.